it's interesting what you say about people didn't understand it back then. Do you think they understand it now? I mean, what are your brokers saying? What do you think the market's saying?
How many brokers are left? I think 85% of trading are passive investment formulas and computers now.
Yeah.
I don't think there's much dialogue going on between you as my broker and me, and you giving me advice anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a different.
But what about the people covering you, for instance, like Haywood, etc.?
Oh yeah, yeah, I talk to them all the time. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, on every news release we talk, and they do site visits, and they've got an open door policy. If they want to take their clients to site, private or institutional, we'll set it up. They can go. They can visit anytime they want.
Do you think they're doing a good job in explaining it to their clients? Not necessarily Haywood, but all brokers.
I think they're doing a reasonable job for it, but they're not going to be looking for orders in a public market because they don't make any money on a trade, because the discount trading has punished the sell side of the business. So they're looking to finance.
But okay.
So they get a 5% fee, which is logical.
Sure.
Yeah.
So obviously, people's business models have changed over the years, as you said. You used to make a lot more money. People have had to change certainly on the institutional side, change their business models. How's that affected you?
It hasn't really affected me because I can do all sides of it, right? Because we used to say it was a wholesale, retail, and fairy tale business, right? Right. So the wholesale guys are the institutions who want big blocks of stock and they want leverage with that. Then there's the retail component, and then there's the dream that you sell. But you better be selling a legitimate dream, right? And it's got to be backed up by hard numbers and facts and reality and QA/QC and everything else. And I'm not going to say what companies do or who they might or might not do. This is what you have to do to make it perfect. Yeah. And then if you can find money and create liquidity, that's the benefit of the industry. So I've been doing it for 25 years.
Yeah, but I kind of, likewise, unfortunately.
I know. Yeah.
And, you see different degrees of understanding from a technical perspective, from a financial perspective, and from a, wider market perspective in terms of all the different, we're talking about retail, family office, high net worth side of things, with very little understanding, very little information actually. You talk about the need to provide accurate numbers. It's hard. It's difficult. So I think what do you think the market should be doing better to tell stories like Liberty Gold's story? Because to me it seems quite an easy story to understand. But
it's really easy. Yeah.
Do you think you're getting fair value in terms of market cap at the moment? Have you done enough, or is it the market?
You can only do what you can do, because we all work 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, right? So if I leave the office, I'm working from home. Mark O'Dea is our chairman. He knows to do exactly what I do. We're both trained the same way. We can both raise money. But I'm not the geologist I used to be. I'm more financial. So you understand, I'm not there to go pick where drill holes go. The people who find mines do that. My job is I'm paid for strategy and how to time it out and how to sequence things to move a company forward. And you can't push on a rope. If the market's against you, you're going to be stuck in the mud. 1 foot in the mud and 1 foot on pavement, whether you like it or not, until the market does change. The gold price can change that. But the lack of discoveries will change it, will I think, change the junior exploration sector faster.
I get that. But
than the gold price.
Let's not get onto the macro. Let's stick with the micro here. I believe that a lot of mining companies could work a lot harder at communicating better to their investors, okay? And I would encourage certainly our investors, our viewers, to interrogate the information the company provides. Very, very few people read the disclosures, for instance, which is crazy. The information's all there. And I'd also say that they don't necessarily need to have a technical appreciation of what the company is doing, but they do need to understand what questions to ask the company, and the company should be able to give that information in a way which is understandable to non-technical people. Yeah. Right?
And we figured that out. Our website's designed that way.
Yeah, I think you've got a good website. I also like your the other Oxygen Capital one, Pure Gold. Yeah. And I know you've got a couple of others.
Sun Metals.
Ones. Yeah. So I think Oxygen Capital have identified that and done quite a good job. Yeah. But what do you think what else could you be doing? What more could you do?
We're not married, are we? I mean, well, I guess I might get that from my wife. But what more can you be doing around the house?
Well, I think it's a fair question because you know what you know, and you do what you do, but you've got to be aware about what's going on out there. It's not an easy market for gold. People just aren't talking about gold at the moment. it's a great commodity. The price isn't there yet, but a lot of the gold companies who should, if I'm looking at it from a purely chart basis, financial basis, you think, well, that should be worth a lot more, but they're not. So something's missing.
Well, the market's not is going to give you the valuation it's going to give. And so there's less investor money in the market. And one of the main reasons is the fact that people have been punished since 2012 with tax losses. And then they go look at different industries. People say, oh, Bitcoin took the momentum out of the mine. That's crap.
Yeah,
right? Those are just lame excuses for a futile market.
There's always been distractions.
There's always been distractions. And so, as you know, through time in the mining industry, things change. And a great example is actually the diamond industry, when diamond was found. And then the market went out and went crazy, sampling the Northwest Territories for glacial deposits. We found 1 G10 garnet. Then it became, the stocks would go up $1 based on a G10 garnet, which is a high chrome nickel garnet. And then if you had 6 garnets, oh my God, the stock would even go higher. Then everyone says, but there's no kimberlites there after they spent 10 million drilling the damn things. And then they had to go to something else. Well, we had ilmenite, we had rutile, we had all these things. And then we closed in, oh my God, there's a round anomaly, which they affectionately called dog's balls anomalies. It's an old BHP term. And they drilled these gravity lows, and if they hit a kimberlite, the stock would take off. And then it got into 10 microdiamonds versus 100 versus 1,000. And then people say, well, they're microdiamonds. What the crap does that mean? So the diamond industry grew from over-exuberance to reality, and then it calmed down, right? So copper industry does that as well, right? So if the copper price goes from $3 a pound down to $2 a pound, everyone's sad. Industrial cobalt goes through the roof and comes right back down, right? When you're chasing an industry with a finite number. But the gold industry is always the gold industry. It's money. You can change it into any currency in the world on any given day. And the reality is there's 10 big producers over 1 million ounces, 25 intermediates, 300 to 1 million, and there's 33 producers, and they're all looking for the same thing as cash flow. And they haven't got it. And they have to sit there waiting for 2 majors to come together to eat the scraps up that aren't material to them. So this is how the industry's gone. There's no mines, right? So ultimately, you have to find things that look like they're going to be mined. And they got to be big, and they've got to be material to an acquiring, producing mining company. And if we go see an asset and we say, 750,000 ounces, we're out of there. Somebody else can have it.
Yeah, I get that you need to be 5 million ounce plus to be interesting.
Oh, there hasn't been a 5 million ounce plus found.
Sure.
I think there's one. Sol Gold in Ecuador has been found as a gold equivalent basis in the last 3 years. Cardinal's there too, yeah. There's not much, and it used to be in the 90s you could get up to 5 or 6 of them a year on average.
True.
Or good explorers.
But so where does that put companies like yourself? I mean, we're just over $1 million, a million ounces at the moment. You want to get to 2. I guess you want to go from 2 to...
Well, right now that are 43101 compliant, just on Kinsley and Blackpine, we're at 1.78 million ounces of good gold in the Great Basin, and we're in Turkey. We're about 1.3 million ounces and 1 billion pounds of copper and 35 million ounces of silver.
But does that put you in a sort of large pen with lots of other people like you at the moment? How do you move from there to where you need to be to kind of get?
I think we have to.
Recognized?
I think Blackpine is going to exceed the other 2 easily.
Right.
And so if you see it and you can feel it, and the drill holes, historical data and compilations support it, you go in and you make that big as fast as you can. Because it's material.
Okay, so let me very, very quickly say, I always like to do this because I say to investors, look at the management team, look at their track record, listen to what they say, and listen to what information they provide. Let's go. We're looking at board of directors and management team. Who's active? Who's just a name? So let's focus on the active people who've got a track record of producing shareholder value and are actively helping you.
Every board member
is
active. Each has a different specialty.
Are they all full-time?
They're all full. Well, I guess they're independent board members, but full-time means they're on. We haven't had a board change, I don't think, in 5 or 6 years.
No, I meant as in, are they thinking about Liberty Gold
they always
wake
are.
up and go to bed?
Sure. Mark O'Day is for sure every day. Moira Smith she runs all the exploration.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm there.
Yeah.
Sean Tetzlaff is absolutely brilliant on securities and rules and everything else like that. So if we're going to go do something, he's the cautionary wise man at the table.
He's the Auction Capital guy.
Yeah,
he's got a few other things going on, as with Donald, presumably.
Donald has the same, So everybody is proactive, and they're all good. And Mark and I get along really well. So if I need him or he needs me to do something, we get it done. right? If I need an introduction and I don't have an introduction to the president and CEO of a senior my gold company, but one of the other board members is a friend of them, they just link us together. We just ricochet around. So when I'm working on behalf of the company, half the year I'm on the road.
Why? What do you mean?
I never stop. I'm marketing, I'm going to site, I'm visiting projects, seeing the geologies, verifying budgets, and going, meeting mutual funds, meeting institutions. You never stop. If you stop, you shouldn't be in the business.
Okay, so earlier you told us about the strategy for the business. There was a clear decision made 2 years ago as to what you wanted to be doing. It didn't include Turkey. You're offloading, hoping to offload Turkey, get some cash into the business, drive the US. So, and you're telling me that, Black Pine looks more interesting than Gold Strike. But
at this point, basically, if we hadn't drilled a hole to Black Pine and Gold Strike, but we started, Gold Strike was 2 years in advance, and we love it. It's a great deposit. It's going to be a good mine.
Sure.
Right. The economics show it's going to be a really good.
But is it going to take you from where you are with a bunch of other people to, stand out business, differentiated?
No, we're going to be a bit different than everybody else. We're going to do two of them at the same time.
Right, okay.
We're going to do Black Pine and we're going to do Gold Strike at the same time.
And that's going to create the value?
Absolutely, yeah. Because how many oxide deposits are left in the Great Basin, right? Very, very little. There's ourselves, we've got two major ones. We've got Gold Standard Ventures, which has done a great job of what they've found at North Dark Star and Pinion. And they've got Bullfrog, I guess, which is Corvus, but that's more of a sulfide system now, because the grades at Bullfrog are points, and that's it. The oxide's gone.
But this isn't a competition about the Great Basin. This is a competition for investors' money who can choose to invest in companies anywhere in the world.
That's correct. Yeah.
So, thinking globally, do you feel that the assets you've got and what you hope to do with them is going to allow you to stand out globally as a meaningful gold potential producer?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic.
Yes, because they meet all the size criteria that everybody's looking for.
Right. Okay. That's what
Very simple answer.